Greetings in the name of Yahuwah and his son Yahusha HaMashiach. My name is Malak Shalomo, and I'm gonna do like a little update on a swing trade I'm doing on Bitcoin. So today is, what's the date today? Let's see, I think it's the 12th. Yep. So it's the 12th of February. Right now the time is around, well, we got the time right here. Yeah, well, the time is around 12 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So, all right, let's jump into this here. Let's see, got my Epic Pen ready to go. All right, cool. Good. All right, so originally I had a trade on Bitcoin. It was just it's a swing trade, right? So I'm just looking at the change in the trend, right? The uptrend. And let's see here. So we went sideways after moving up, right? So we topped out here at a high of what? 24,255. So after that we started kind of trickling down. Let's see here. Let me pull this out, or let me make this bigger. Right, so this line right here, that's upper VWAP, that red line right there. So that's annual anchored upper VWAP. So we were holding above that level. You could see here, testing it a couple times, right? We finally broke below that level, caught some support here around the VPOC level, and pushed up to that high around 24,255, right? So when we got up there, we topped out, we made a double top, and we started making some lower highs, right? So while we're making the lower highs, we broke this upper VWAP band, which is a very bullish. Anything above this level right here is bullish, right? So the upper VWAP band, annual anchored upper VWAP band, is a trend indicator, right? So once we stay above that, that's bullish. So once we broke below there, right, that's a change. That's the first change in behavior, right? So I guess you could say the first change in behavior was the lower high, right? We got the third lower high right here. Well, the second lower high, my bad. So that was the first lower high. This is the second lower high. Then we broke below the upper VWAP band. That's another change in behavior. We made a third lower high right there, breaking above upper VWAP band, consolidated a little bit, and then we took the next breakdown, right? So broke below VWAP, made some consolidation, pulled back up here to try and regain the upper VWAP band, and failed, right? So let's see here. Right, so when we failed, let's see if I could make this a little bigger. Let's see if I could find my entries here on the first trade. No, I can't find it on the first trade. But anyway, I stopped out on the first trade, I think, when we pulled back around here. So I took a short somewhere around here. Can't remember exactly where. But when caught profit, right? And then it stopped out on like a pullback. So on my second trade here, let's see, make this a little bigger. Right, so on my second trade here, I actually made like a second mistake entry, right? So it was just selling one Bitcoin, and this is paper trading, right? So sold one Bitcoin, and then I was kind of messing around with my indicators, and I hit sell again by mistake. So that kind of rearranged my average price and brought me down to 22,406.82 as my average price, right? So that kind of messed me up a little bit. So but the trade is moving in my direction. It's the trend is intact, right? So we switched from a uptrend, had that distribution kind of pattern right there on top, right? Had a double top. Everything that you'd want to see in like a distribution pattern, we're moving sideways, right? Moving sideways here, right? Caught the double top, topped out, move sideways, coming down again, and then the break, right? So everything is intact for like a trade, a change in behavior. So that's when I started going short and stuff like that. But let's see here. I'm trying to find something real quick. It's supposed to show my entries, my prior entries. But anyway, let's go down to the smaller time frame. That was the 4-hour chart. So let's look at what's happening right now. So this is the 5-minute chart. Let's see here. I'm gonna use the central floor pivots for the first analysis, but I'm gonna take off the R1 and S1 levels. So only the central floor pivots I'll be showing. All right, so let's see here. Right now I got my mic hooked up so on the laptop, so I can't really use my mouse. So I gotta use the trackpad on the laptop. So it's a little different from using the mouse. I gotta do a bunch of stuff, right? So this was the first trades here. This is what I was looking for. Right, let me make this bigger real quick. You'll bear with me. I gotta kind of maneuver a little different on this trackpad, so bear with me. Right, so this, I think I found it here. Right, so I hope y'all could see this here. That was the first cell right there. Let me see if I can make that even bigger. All right, cool. I think that'll be it. Right. So looking at how the central floor pivots kind of relates to price action, right? So we had this break above the central floor pivots here, right? And let's see what day this was. Right, so that was the 4th of February, right? So we had this break above the central floor pivots, came back down, right? So came back down to the central floor pivots, broke below, had the rejection here, and that's when I took this sell, right? So entered the trade here at, let's see where I entered. Right, so that was 10:40 Saturday morning on the 4th, right? So entered that trade short, and let's see here. Yeah, this video is gonna be kind of crazy working with this trackpad, but I'm at work, so I brought my laptop to work, and just wanted to kind of break down this swing trade, right? So entered there on the 4th. And I think when it pulled back here, right, I stopped out at on Sunday at 135, right, because of this kind of double bottom here, and we're pulling back. I think we were pulling back kind of close to my to my original entry, right? So entered around here, right, and as we were pulling back, I stopped out, which was a good decision because it would have broke even anyway, right? So when I see we got those tops right there, the double top on the rejection of the central floor pivots, right? You can see that right there, rejecting the central floor pivots. That's the bottom central, but it's flipped, right? So sometimes in the calculation, the bottom central pivot becomes the top central pivot, but it's still color coded as the bottom central pivot, right? So the green's for the bottom, the red is for the top. So you see sometimes here is just flipped, right? And the blue line is the pivot zone, right? That's the middle pivot. So let's see here. See, I gotta really move around with this trackpad. Right, so you can see the price behavior here at the central pivot zone. We have in this rejection, right, at the top central pivot, and I entered here again after the break-even trade right here. I entered here again at around, what time was this? At 4:45 in the afternoon, right? So let's see, wrote that down a little bit. Let me see where I stopped out on this trade, right? So because I was swing trading it and looking at price action behavior at the central pivot zone, right? So central floor pivot. So let's see here. Where did I stop out on this trade? Because I know I think I did stop out on this trade. And if I didn't, this would be the actual trade I'm in right now. So let me see. Right, so right here on let's see, what day was this? So this was the 6th of February, right, at 11:30 a.m. I actually added to the position as we rejected the central floor pivots again, right? So you see same kind of rejection at the top central pivot, which is kind of flipped right now, and this is the bottom central pivot, which is green, but it's flipped and it's at the top, but it doesn't really matter. It's just context, right? So when it rejected here again at the top, I just took the short here again at the reversal pattern, because you can see the wicks, seeing the weakness right here, right? Because you had this big bullish move pushing up into the pivots, but then it's rejecting, so I took the short there again, so added to the position, right? So let's see here. So that was on the 6th of February, right? So let's see, moving down again. And you can see now the central floor pivots is in a lower value relationship, right? So this is the pivot zones right here for the prior day. And now we came all the way below those pivot zones, and now the pivot zone is in this area here, right? So that's a lower value relationship. And let's see here. So this is still the 6th of February, different session after 7 p.m. So we're in a new session and new pivot levels. So we pulled above it a little bit, right? Went sideways, and that's when I stopped out, right? So I was looking at the behavior. You see we move above the pivot level. So that's a change in behavior, right? So I set my stop and stopped out here, right? And that was a good idea because we pushed up, came back to the pivots, bounced, and then on the next day, which is now the 7th of February, I took the short here again. Now, I didn't wait for it to break because it's a higher value pivot relationship right now. You see it's higher than yesterday, the prior day. So went short here again, and this was just because like of the reversal pattern here. So I was taking an early short above the pivot level in a higher value relationship, because I'm looking at it as, if you're in a higher value relationship, you shouldn't be rejecting like this. You shouldn't have these reversal patterns. That's a big reversal pattern right there. So took the short, Had a tight stop right above it and rode that down. See, we broke the central floor pivots now around, let's see what time. So we broke down around 10 o'clock on the 8th of February, right? Caught a little support, moved sideways underneath the central floor pivots. Open the next day, lower value relationship, right? So look at it here, overlapping lower value. So you see it just overlapped a little bit, lower value relationship. Looking at the open, we're looking to see what price is going to do. It reject the pivot level at the bottom here, sold off heavily, right? Got a little support, right? Pushed back up to the mid, went sideways, and now on the 9th of February at 8 o'clock, right? Selling off again, big sell off, right? So continuation of trend, no reason to sell, stops above structure, right? So we move down into what day is this now? We're at the 9th of February, different session after 7 p.m. Lower value pivot relationship. Let's see here, right? Lower value pivot relationship. You could see pivots up here. Now the pivots are down here, right? All the way below. So, wait, hold on. Right, so observing at the open now, where did we open? So we opened below the pivot levels again, stayed below, didn't even test the pivot levels. No reason to sell. Stops still above structure, right? So we went sideways that day. And I think this is where I added to the position by mistake. I'm not sure, but added to the position here on the 10th of February at 5:30, right? So added to the position right there. And now we have another lower value relationship, right? But this time, look at what's happening here. It was a mistake add, but this is the difference in price behavior now, because now we're actually testing the pivots again, right? And this is a change in behavior in the downtrend, because we're actually breaking above the pivots again, right? Breaking above, catching support at the bottom of the pivot, right? Catching support. Now we're catching higher support at the pivot level itself, the blue line, right? So all that's noted as change of behavior, right? Let's see. Right, so we're moving sideways, but we're not breaking down anymore, right? So you see what's happening here. Again, even if we break down below the pivots, we're getting this kind of reversal patterns, and we're getting buyers here at the pivots, right? Supporting price. So let's see. And now, right, so we're at current price, right? So right now, this is a real change in behavior in the trend, right? So right now I have, let's see, for the position that I took, which was a mistake, that mistake sell I took, which was added to the first Bitcoin sell, right? So now I have two Bitcoins as the position, right? So for one of them, I set us a sell limit order right here at 22,246.50. So I'm not thinking that price is going to pull back up to that area all the way up there. So I think it's a good place to put my stop, right? If I want to maintain that swing trade or try and maintain that ad, right? Which was a bad ad right here. It was a mistake because it's not really a good place to add to the position. This would have been a better place right here with this lower high, right? At least that makes sense, you know? But right here, this was when it was breaking down after reversal, so that was a mistake, So right now, let's see, we might come back up here and test this prior day's central pivot. This is the top central pivot, but now it's acting as the bottom central pivot. So it might come up here and test 21,984.53. And if it rejects off of there, well, this ad will still be safe, but really and truly, I shouldn't have made that mistake right there. So that's kind of messing up that trade. But still, the first position should be safe, And let me just show one more thing right here. Well, I might actually show the cams, but let me show the money zone. Right. So the money zone was holding as the value area low, which is the white line. That was holding as resistance, right? But then it broke above that. We pulled back down, and now we had this big breakout up to like this POC level, right? So this is a resistance level right here, the value area high, 21,938. So this is another option. If I want to keep the stop tight, I could probably bring my limit order to if it breaks above here, So I have to consider that, because I want to treat this like live trading. If I had money on the line, I don't wanna risk too much, especially if it's breaking certain structures and my indicators. This is the money zone. It's a volume profile based kind of indicator. So it's a mini volume profile. It's not as extensive as like David Russo on Twitter. He has like the whole money zone, the money profile. So this is just like a breakdown of it, right? So this is the value area high, that's the value area low, and this is the POC level, right? So really, let's see here. And if you look at structure, right? If it breaks above here, it's breaking above these highs, right? These rejections that happened here is breaking above that. So that's a big change in behavior. So this is what I'm gonna do right now, right? So if it breaks above this structure right here and the money zone value area high, I'm gonna stop out on this mistake sell right here. Let's just cut that short quickly, because we don't wanna be wasting money, man. So it was already a mistake, and probably if it was live trading, I would have just took it off immediately, right? But it's a downtrend, so things are looking very weak. So let's see if it could maintain, right? So this is going against the behavior of a downtrend right now. We're looking like we're kind of accumulating and looking to break back up. So let's see here, go to the Camarillas on the 15-minute chart and see what kind of setup we got here. Right, so I have the volume profile on. Let me take the volume profile off. Right, so the Camarilla relationship was in a inside value relationship, and that's indicative of like a kind of a breakout in price action, right? In whatever direction it chooses, it's kind of showing that it might break out in that direction. So since we're holding above S3, not even getting to S1, right? S1 is here. We're not getting to S1, barely got, like in range of S1 right here. So we're getting a lot of support. And eventually we broke above R3, which is that red line. You see, we were getting some nice resistance here. Eventually broke above R1 now. So this is R4 right here. So yeah, I think my stop is in a good place, because with this inside value day, it could get a breakout to the upside. So if it goes above Camarilla R4, that's a good place to stop out. So I think it's a good decision there. Let me just let me be conservative and have my stops real tight, you know. And this is kind of like to show you can use Camarillas and pivot levels and the money zone and stuff to trade Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is a market like any other, you know what I'm saying? So once you could read the behavior, which you could read the behavior here, we're having this stoppage in the downtrend, right? That's kind of like a double bottom right there, right? And now we're getting a higher low, right? So some people think this is volatile behavior when it just pushes up like that, but really and truly it's telling you, right? Sideways movement, break up, pull back, retest. It's telling you what it wants to do. So when the buyers come in here like that, thinking it's volatile, oh, this is crazy and stuff like that, it's not really, it's not really outside of normal trading. This is normal trading. It's just that, price would break out sometimes, and the inside value is showing you that this could happen. So to me, it's not far-fetched trading, or it's not really that different from like trading stocks. This might just move on a longer time frame. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might get like these breakout opens and stuff at 9:30 with the stock market, but with this, you might get price action. Like, this breakout is happening when at 16:45 on a Saturday. So it could happen anytime in Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? Like, this here is happening. This breakdown is happening what 10:30 Friday night. So it could happen anytime on Bitcoin. It's 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my little breakdown on Bitcoin. I'll probably go live on Bitcoin. Let's see, maybe in April. Maybe I think in April I'll start trading live. But this is just practicing like a swing position. But let's see. If I were to trade this off of cams today, like let's say I didn't have a position, right? This is an inside value day from, let's see, what was the prior day? So I'm trying to see what's the 2-day relationship here. Let's see what the prior day was. So this is the inside value day. And this day was a lower value day, right? So we're coming from a lower value day, right? Have an inside value day, right? Now, looking at the open here, the price action is not suggesting continuation, right? So I would want to see price for a continuation to open somewhere lower and start attacking like the S3 level, right? To get like a entry, right? Now, around here, I could have probably taken something like a R3 rejection right here. And when I see this, break even the trade, right? Maybe if I wanted to take another attempt, break even the trade, right? Let me make that a little bigger, right? So this is R3 rejections right here. We're in a downtrend looking for continuation. R3 rejection, break even the trade when it pulls back. If I want to take another attempt, take that attempt, pull back, it's not hitting break even, right? Could have held this and pull down all the way here. When you see the reversal pattern, break back above R1, could have stopped out and take profit. So to avoid this kind of movement and just conserve capital, so this is tradable stuff, you know what I'm saying? All right, y'all, let me cut this short because I think this probably went on for a little bit, man. So it's probably like a half an hour video. So yeah, man, it's Malak Shalomo. I'll probably try and go live on Bitcoin and cryptos probably in April. This is my swing trade. Stop is now at 21,980.44. Looking to have this rejection here at Camarilla R4. Also The stop is above the money zone value area high at 21,938.16. So above structure, above my indicator resistance levels, and let's see how it works out. You know what I'm saying? Let me just take a quick look here at the volume profile. Right, so this is another indication that we probably gonna get some continuation to the upside, or it might have some mean reversion if this volume doesn't break out here. I mean, build up a little bit. So what could probably happen here is we'll get some sideways movement, try and build out this volume profile a little bit before we get the move higher. Now, if the volume profile does not build out, we're gonna start pulling back and have a mean reversion trade back to like the VPOC level. So it's all in balance of how you look at things. What's more probable? You know what I'm saying? And when you're looking at this, the buyers are definitely in here around the VPOC level, right? Because of this prior, let me see, let me pull this back real quick. Right, so you see the buyers are starting to step in around here, like all around here too. So you can see the wicks pulling back up, creating this volume VPOC level. Now we're breaking above. But what has to happen is they need to step in here again. Because if there is no buyers, then the breakout is going to fail. Right? Because you see how thin the volume profile is getting right now. So they need to start stepping in again, or the responsive sellers are going to take over and push price back down to this VPOC level. Right? So they got to build this out. Maybe that might be moving sideways a little bit, but buying the dips when it comes back down to like this high volume node right here, they probably have to support it. Or maybe it could just run up, you know what I mean, and hit the stop. But we'll see what it does, you know, because market makers are in play as well, you know. So whatever they want to do is going to happen, right? But to build out this volume profile here, they need to kind of move sideways a little bit and buy some of these dips here at this high volume node area around, let's see, 21,813. So that's where price would pull back to first if they don't get buyers up here, you know. All right, so it's Malak Shalomo. This is my trade update on my swing trade on Bitcoin. Had a mistake sell added to the position. So now I have 2 Bitcoins as my position on the sell. This is the sell limit order right here to get rid of that mistake sell at 21,980.44. And buyers looking like they're jumping in. So let's see if they could maintain around here. Right? All right, y'all. Trade safe and stay blessed.